Are you seeing a bunch of Bastila videos and not sure how to beat that team now in Arena? Let's go into it. Hey everyone, welcome to another Reality Skewed Gamers video. I am Finity and today we are countering the meta of the Bastila Jedi team. Now, this Bastila Jedi team has shown up a lot because it is a great counter to the Emperor Palpatine leads. It has shifted away a lot of the Emperor Palpatine leads towards some other teams, particularly Traya leads, but the Bastila team is a pretty difficult team to face if you're not ready for it. So, what are the different mechanics you need to know, and what team can you use to counter it? So, the team that I use to counter it is a fairly simple one. It is a General Kenobi, Barriss Offee, Grand Admiral Thrawn, Darth Nihilus, and Commander Luke Skywalker. So it's a pretty simple team and a group of characters that hopefully you have farmed up. And then you're facing your typical Jedi team right now, which is a Bastila Shan lead, a Grandmaster Yoda, a Hermit Yoda, a General Kenobi, and an Ezra Bridger. So, what are the mechanics you need to know about who you're fighting in order to properly use your team? So there's a few of them in particular you need to make sure you're watching for. The first one is General Kenobi. Now, why is General Kenobi important? This team has two main damage dealers. It is the Grandmaster Yoda and the Ezra Bridger. You need to find a way to neutralize at least one of them, and that's going to require you to fracture using Thrawn, either Grandmaster Yoda, who's more preferred, or Ezra Bridger. So how do you make sure that you fracture Grandmaster Yoda? Well, the problem is going to be the opposing Kenobi. The opposing Kenobi gains taunt whenever you crit another Jedi. So you don't want to be unnecessarily attacking other Jedi. The team that you're using, the Kenobi, Barriss, Thrawn, Nihilus, and Commander Luke team, is a feed the Nihilus team. It is basically running through in sequence and using Nihilus in order to kill the opponents. You're not necessarily worried about killing them with pure damage. So, what you're trying to do is make sure that Kenobi does not have taunt on him when you're getting ready to fracture Grandmaster Yoda. So that means most of the time you will be attacking General Kenobi. Not any of the other characters, you'll be attacking General Kenobi just to prevent the taunt from coming up. Now, what are some of the exceptions? The other exception is Foresight. Foresight is gotten by the battle meditation by Grandmaster Yoda. Now, why is this important? Because in order to get the Annihilate faster for Darth Nihilus, it is important that you're able to hit them with the Drain Force. And if they have Foresight up, you are not going to be able to hit them with Drain Force. So, what you will do is during the attacks, if Kenobi does not have taunt, that means you can attack anybody, and there is another character that has Foresight, you want to attack it so it reduces the chance that Darth Nihilus is going to hit that Foresight with his Drain Force. The character you do not need to remove Foresight from, though, is Grandmaster Yoda, and that's because he can gain Foresight from his basic. So attacking him with one of the other characters could be a futile attempt because he could just regain it back when his turn comes up. So you are going to be aiming particularly for Bastila and Ezra in order to remove the Foresight from them so that Nihilus can do the Drain Force. So those are the two key abilities that you need to make sure you're looking for when you're fighting this team. Other little things to keep in mind. Grandmaster Yoda is a good one to fracture first instead of Ezra because Grandmaster Yoda is highly reliant on special damage, and special damage has a lower chance of crit. Now you have to look at the mechanics on your side. The first one is that General Kenobi, just like we're looking at the team you're facing, it's also important on the team that you have. General Kenobi will gain a taunt whenever they crit on your team, which means that you want them to be at least critting once on somebody, and Grandmaster Yoda has a hard time doing that. So, fracture on Grandmaster Yoda, a good idea. Another thing to keep in mind is Barriss. Now, Barriss is going to heal when you have her Zeta whenever somebody crits you. So, that is why you want to focus on General Kenobi. So, once somebody else gets a crit, Kenobi gets a taunt, and then Kenobi can get hit, and now you'll be healing with Barriss. Another key ability on your offensive side is going to be the combination of Kenobi's lead with Barriss's heal. Now what will happen is that if your team has full health, in particular you're going to be looking for Darth Nihilus. If Darth Nihilus has full health, when you heal with Barriss Offee, it'll trigger General Kenobi's lead. General Kenobi's lead will have everybody that is at full health when a heal is used attack with their basic. Why is this important? Because Nihilus's basic does a dispel, which is another way for you to remove taunt off of Kenobi. So what are the different ways you can remove taunt off of Kenobi? You have the Kenobi Barriss combo that'll trigger Nihilus. You also have CLS, that is why he's on this team. He can then put buff immunity on Kenobi and buy you some extra time. So the different ways to remove taunt are also very important. The other abilities to realize, and we just mentioned a few of these, the Fracture by Grand Admiral Thrawn, and the Drain Force and Annihilate by Nihilus. Keep in mind that not only does the basic of Darth Nihilus remove buffs, but it also will then reduce the cooldown of Drain Force, and you need that Drain Force coming up as soon as possible so that you can lower the cooldown of Annihilate. Now, this team is going to be a slow team. It is about a 4-minute kill team, so it's not one that you really want to waste time on. But that being said, I have yet to lose against the Bastila team with this team. It's a little slow, but it always does the trick. So let's watch a battle and see how we work through the mechanics. So as we start this match, Grandmaster Yoda does his thing. He does his AoE, he puts buffs up. With Thrawn, I'm going to switch turn meter with Nihilus. Now you have a few different targets that you can do this with. The biggest issue about doing a Fracture at that point is that Kenobi still has taunt. So you can either switch over to Nihilus and just eat the Foresights, which is what I did in this case, or you can switch to Barriss and do a heal early, get defense up on all of your team, and then also that will trigger everybody to attack and then dispel that taunt. So you have two different mechanics that you can use for this first turn. Once that sequence is done, you'll see that after I do the Nihilus though, then I get to the Barriss AoE, she removes the taunt, and then Thrawn is up, and now I can do the Fracture on Grandmaster Yoda. So that prevents that little green menace from causing issues. Now I'm just going to kind of keep running through this battle. Like I said, it is a 4-minute win team. It does take some time, but you'll see that pretty much I am focusing on General Kenobi. I'm just dealing him damage as much as I can, trying to bring him down so I don't need to use the Annihilate on him, trying to get the Annihilate up quicker, and then I can use it on either Yoda or Ezra. So you'll see in this one I managed to get 2 Drain Forces off of Kenobi, so I'm kind of progressing forward here. So the team is fairly simple as you continue to progress. It is a simple kind of feed a turn meter to Nihilus, try to reduce his cooldown of his Drain Force, keep Foresight off of the other characters so that you can hit the Drain Force, focus on Kenobi as much as possible, try to keep that taunt off of Kenobi, and you just kind of keep on rolling in that mechanic. And now we get to the first Annihilate, and you see that my focus is Grandmaster Yoda. Now you could have picked Ezra Bridger as well. They're the two, again, the 2 damage dealers, so you want to take out at least one of them early. I like taking out Grandmaster Yoda in this situation because his Ezra wasn't doing a ton of damage and I was able to survive most of it. If you are facing an Ezra that does a lot of damage, that is very offense focused, I would suggest taking out Ezra first, because Ezra can double tap and basically take out your Barriss, and then your team will slowly start to fall apart after that point. It can still survive for a good bit, but you want to make sure Barriss is still alive. You'll see that Kenobi is now dead just from the damage of the other squads, so you can continue doing that, and now you continue to focus on any character you want because there is no threat of taunt. So you can focus on Ezra, you can focus on Bastila, whoever you want. You're trying to get Nihilus's Annihilate up as soon as possible. So you'll see here that I annihilate Bastila instead of Ezra, and that's just because I got to the point where Kenobi was dead. If Kenobi is still alive, you definitely want to get rid of Ezra so you don't have any of the damage. But since I was getting close to the end of the battle and Ezra was already going down in health and lost his protection, I took out Bastila because she's a little bit more tankier than Ezra, and Ezra was an easier kill. But in general, focus on the Annihilates on either Grandmaster Yoda or Ezra first, and second, that way you get rid of the damage dealers and the potential threats of killing any of your characters. And that basically concludes this video. Now, again, it's a fairly simple team. It is a 4-minute team to kill, so it's a little bit of a slow endeavor, but it gets the job done every time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you found an easy counter to Bastila, and I'll see you on the next video.